everybody, it's Jen here doing Twerk It Thursday. Myself and Mari are partners today using those inspiration pieces that you just saw. So that is the layout that I did, and what I chose to do was I used some Heidi Swap Color Shine to mist a background paper and then layer that behind this cut apart that I did on my silhouette. So this was just me picking some fonts and fiddling around with the sizing. What I did after I got the silhouette cut done is I used a piece of white cardstock and laid them underneath each other but just slightly offset, and just made little small pencil marks as to where each of the lines ended. And then I used just a scrap piece of paper to kind of make a line right where that pencil mark was, and then spray. And then I used, and then I would move it down and then spray again, and then move it down and spray again. So just keeping within the pencil marks that I had made, and that pretty close made it so that each line of my words has a different color. And then of course I used the colors from the inspiration pieces that you saw right at the beginning there. The photos that I wanted to use for this layout were very detailed, and so that's why I decided to include the colors this way. And the really awesome thing is that Mari did the exact opposite. She included the colors right on the top, and so I think that's really cool to see how differently people can use the same inspiration piece and make it work for them. I just realized I totally forgot to include the sketch that we were both working off, and I will put it at the end because my iMovie has not been very happy with me lately, and so if I try to stick that in at the beginning now, it's going to yell at me. So there you can see I layered up that background misted piece with this white cardstock with the cut apart, and then I'm using a piece of purpley burgundy cardstock. So this is a piece of cardstock I probably would have never used any other time, but I just wanted to use this because I thought it would help bring out a bit of that color that I used right on the very top line there. That was quite predominant in the inspiration piece. And I don't believe there's really very much of it going to be on the top of the layout, so I like how that kind of added some contrast. Sorry, head in the way. I just moved my scrap room around, and I have on putting that on there just to flatten that out a bit more. So these are the photos that I'm using, and I was just going to say really quick, I'm moving my scrap room around, and so this is an interim video setup, so I apologize, it is not the greatest. The lighting is better in that I'm near a window, but it's literally a selfie stick duct taped onto a tripod. It's not the best, and it shifts and moves, and probably every of these video clips is going to be different. So what I just did right there is I mounted my photos on a really thin bit of white cardstock, cardstock matte, and then also used sort of a turquoisey, bluey pattern paper, and I just did that off camera because with doing 6 mats it's kind of time consuming and kind of boring to watch. So in the sketch, it was the same sort of orientation of photos, but because of the way that instead of using a large piece of cardstock along the one left side, I used these words, I ended up having to shift around the photos a bit just to make them fit a little bit better. And it was just a happy coincidence that they fit and I didn't have to turn them up more than this. So these are 3x4 with that red flower one just cut down, not quite to a square. I'm playing around with my embellishments now. I didn't want them to be too busy because these photos are quite detailed. The flower ones, especially the purple one, I find really draws your eye, and then that top one that's horizontal is a photo of a bridge. And the sun's going down and the light's hitting it in a really neat way, and so you really have to stop and look at that one to sort of see what's going on. And so I wanted to keep the rest of the layout fairly simple, in that you were able to take in what those photos were. This sort of tissue, I don't know what to call it, a border strip, is from Studio Calico. It's really old. I just happened to find it in the move, and I thought it was kind of pink, and it's more brown, little tiny polka dots, but when you put it with this, it almost mimics that purple that I was using for the cardstock border, so I thought that would work really well. And this also mimics the sketch with the two sort of borders that it had on it, although I am, you know, being fairly liberal with how that sketch was going. I'm also using a piece of glitter washi tape, and I cut it in half to make it much thinner. And they're really not even, but I wasn't too worried about that. Apologize that the bottom of that is off camera. I'm playing around with some stickers off of crate paper sticker sheets. This is from Confetti and from Craft Market that I'm playing around with. And that big flower piece at the bottom that you can barely see is actually chipboard, and that is from the Wonder collection, and it doesn't end up making it. It's just too big and kind of busy, I think. So I find that sticker right there, that flower, and I'm going to put that in and just have it peeking out, and it pulls in a little bit of the yellow as well. That's under my reasons. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh, I'm inking edges. Sorry, I'm off camera just because of this setup, the way that it is. I will figure that out. So there's a little birdie that I pulled. I think that's actually from Notes and Things. I have all my crepe paper sticker sheets all stuck together. And so that's 3 different collections right there of crepe paper. And they all work great together, which is fantastic. And I thought, since this is kind of nature-y and that little birdie has been hanging out in my room for at least a year, I would use it. And I think he looks really cute, kind of hanging off the edge of the white cardstock. And then I tried to do that on the top as well, a little bit with that label and then with that blue tag. And that white little phrase there, I can't quite remember what it says. It has some little hearts on the bottom that kind of mimic all the colors. I actually cut that out of the middle of another tag that was on that sticker sheet because it was kind of like a wood green, and it was, for one, it was a bit too big for where I wanted to put it, but the wood green wasn't working all that well on this layout. The other thing that I'm noticing right now is that little birdie, even though he's brown, kind of almost looks like that purpley color too. So here I'm pulling in, these are Simple Stories, the brads that don't have the metal backs. I love those, from the I Am collection. This is all stash, ladies. I'm just pulling things out and going for it. These are from Hey Little Magpie. It's a store in the UK, and I saw these on somebody's Instagram and I had to have them, and they're all different color hearts, and so I'm using these hearts to pull in some of the colors that I felt were kind of maybe missing in the cluster. So you can see I put a pink one down there, and I used a yellow of those brads. On the top I used a pink brad, and I think I put a yellow heart. And then I'm just searching for some navy enamel dots, and that's what I'm putting on there, just because there's navy under the happy and there's really navy nowhere else. I just want to pull that in a little bit. So I'm going to fix that, and then I'm going to have sort of a real-time close-ups to show you. This was a pretty fast layout on camera. The spraying and the weighting and the cutting out of my silhouette and sort of planning that took obviously quite a bit longer. But once it was ready to be put together, this layout went pretty quickly. And I'm not really doing any journaling on this. I just put where they were. And right now I'm going to stamp the date on there. And I'm using the gold ink, and I stamped it a couple times because that gold ink is different, and I wanted to make sure I didn't make a messy, blobby mess. And I did good. I was impressed. That's my Heidi Swap date stamp. A little bit of gold color shine. I made a blobby mess right on the E of the B. It's going to happen right there. Oh well, what are you going to do? You can't get rid of it. I'm trying. See me trying to get rid of it. But such is life, ladies. There's a blobby mess on the E. Most people wouldn't have noticed probably until I pointed it out. So here's some close-ups. Make sure you go check out Mari's layout as well. It is fantastic. Thank you for joining us for Twerk It Thursday. Please make sure you check out all the other days and wonderful, wonderful ladies on the Crafty Maven Getaway channel. Thanks for watching me, and I will see you again real soon. Bye now.